A recent report revealed that 76% of European freight carriers faced significant supply chain disruptions over the past year. This is not a coincidence. While everyone is busy arguing about the food shortage expected in 2025, they overlook something important. There are 15 critically essential goods that will disappear from store shelves long before real food shortages begin. And I speak of the things you use every day, of what you may have taken for granted. Stay with us, because the 12th point will amaze you. Trust me on this. This is what really happens. Our entire supply chain operates on a just-in-time principle. This means that supplies are virtually non-existent. When one link breaks, everything quickly falls apart. And here is the thing. Certain goods always disappear first. This is not a coincidence. There is a certain regularity behind it. At this moment, while we speak, 295 million people in 53 countries are experiencing acute food shortages. This figure has increased by 5% compared to last year. But smart, prepared people are not focused only on food. They know what most do not realize. Here's what they are currently stocking. 15 items that will disappear long before the bread runs out in your local supermarket. And if you think you can just wait and see what happens, you are already late for some of these items. The first item is toilet paper and paper products, the first domino to fall. Let me tell you a story that is happening right now. Last month, Walmart was forced to make an official statement. They reported an increase in demand for items like toilet paper and paper towels and are literally asking customers to stop buying in bulk. It is now getting even more interesting. Target stores across the country began to experience shortages. Charmin toilet paper was completely sold out for delivery in most regions on the Costco website. And this is not a real shortage, just panic among people. But that's not all. Procter & Gamble has just announced that prices for toilet paper will rise by an average of 2.5% starting in August, in addition to already occurred increases. But here's what no one discusses. The largest exporter of pulp in Brazil has just warned that new tariffs could threaten the so-called lifeline of raw materials for toilet paper production. Their exports to the USA have dropped by 20% in just 1 month. Now the paper industry continues to reassure. Don't worry. 85% of the demand for toilet paper in the USA is met by American manufacturers. Sounds reassuring, doesn't it? In reality, it's an illusion. Here is what they don't mention. Those 15% we import are high-quality cellulose that makes your toilet paper soft. Without it, we are left with lower-quality paper products that feel like sandpaper. But here is the real problem. Our supply chain operates on a just-in-time principle, and there are virtually no stocks. If a strike delays deliveries by even 1 or 2 weeks, it could cause delays affecting raw material supplies. Here's what's interesting. One supply chain expert told me that the system is already under strain. It won't take long for a small buying panic to turn into a real shortage. The signs are already evident. When Hurricane Helen struck the region, entire areas ran out of paper goods in just a few days. Not weeks, but days. Right now, you can still go into any store and find toilet paper. But as soon as the panic buying truly begins, as soon as people remember the empty shelves of 2020, this window will close very quickly. Point 2. Batteries. A hidden crisis that no one talks about. That's what will surprise you. While everyone panics over electric cars and the shortage of Teslas, a massive battery crisis is looming that no one notices. And it's not about car batteries. I'm talking about simple AA and AAA batteries that are now lying in your drawer. Listen, China has just banned the export of graphite to the USA. And here's the catch. China controls over 90% of the world's processed graphite reserves for batteries. This is the material used in every battery you use. But here's what is truly frightening. The demand in the USA for batteries for electric cars may increase by more than 500% compared to the level of 2022 by 2030. This is not a typo. 500%. Now think about this for a second. When companies producing electric cars, like Tesla, compete for lithium and graphite, what do you think will happen to regular batteries for homes? They will simply be pushed out. Deutsche Bank predicts a shortage of lithium by 40 to 60,000 tons by 2025. By the year 2030, the shortage will amount to a whole 768,000 tons. This is what is happening right now. In North American homes, about 4 billion batteries are replaced each year. These are just ordinary household items. Remotes, flashlights, children's toys. But the lithium that used to go into making those cheap Duracell and Energizer batteries is now going into the electric vehicle industry. A 30% shortage of graphite supplies is expected by 2030. When that happens, It won't just be about your TV remote. Your smoke detectors, flashlights, emergency radios, and batteries for children's toys will also stop working. And here is what worries me the most. AA batteries make up 46.2% of the alkaline battery market, almost half. These are not luxury items, these are necessary things. Smart people are already starting to act. Every year, more than 10 billion alkaline batteries are produced worldwide. China accounts for 60% of the increase in production capacity from 2020 to 2030. But when it comes to choosing between producing batteries for Tesla for $50,000 and your $5 flashlights, guess what will win? So while everyone is stocking up on food and water, truly prepared people quietly buy boxes of AA and AA batteries, because when the lights go out and your emergency radio stops working, all that food stock won't help you stay informed. The shortage is already starting to be felt. During the recent Cyber Monday at Amazon, there were discounts of up to 70% on batteries. This is not generosity, but an attempt to clear out stock before prices rise. Prepare in advance. Buy now, because once the shortage of supplies becomes fully apparent, a pack of AA batteries may cost more than your monthly streaming service subscription. The third point is cleaning supplies. This is an invisible shortage that will hit first. It may sound strange, but bear with me a little. You know that bottle of Dawn dish soap under the kitchen sink, Tide powder in your laundry room, liquid soap at the sink in the bathroom? All of this will soon become a luxury. This is what happens behind the scenes, what no one talks about. There is a shortage of internationally supplied ingredients, such as surfactants and preservatives. You might be wondering, what are surfactants? They are the magical components that make soap effective. Without them, your soap is essentially expensive water. And here comes the scary part. Global supply chain issues continue to affect the availability of raw materials, with logistics costs increasing by 25% since 2020. But this is just the beginning. The pandemic revealed vulnerabilities in the supply chain of surfactants. These chemicals are not produced in your area. They come from large industrial plants, mostly abroad. And when they shut down or slow down, all your usual cleaning products suffer. The market is experiencing price fluctuations for raw materials, especially key ingredients like palm oil and petrochemicals. This palm oil is found in almost every soap and cleaning product you use. When palm oil prices soar, cleaning products become unaffordable. This is where it becomes truly frightening. There is currently a shortage of calcium carbonate and sorbitol, which are used in toothpaste. Yes, even toothpaste is at risk. Deodorant contains aluminum, which is also in short supply. Thus, your morning routine is under threat. But here's what really keeps me awake at night. The supply chain of disinfectants and cleaning agents relies on the just-in-time principle, making it difficult to drastically increase production volumes in a short time. This means that there are practically no reserves everywhere. When demand suddenly increases or one of the factories faces problems, everything disappears quickly. Remember what happened in 2019 when Procter & Gamble had production issues. Walmart stores across the country noticed alarming signs warning of an impending dish soap shortage. The shortage lasted until December 1st, and it was just one company facing problems. Now imagine what will happen when the entire supply chain is under pressure. The surfactants market was valued at $46.2 billion in 2024. However, strict regulations on nonlinear alkynyl ether and other hazardous substances have led to market withdrawals affecting 15% of traditional surfactant formulations. We are not only facing ingredient shortages, but 15% of traditional formulas are subject to bans. Companies are forced to completely rethink their product compositions, facing a shortage of ingredients. Global supply issues have forced manufacturers to rethink their strategies, and now they are creating regional production centers to reduce delivery times and transportation costs. Sounds promising, doesn't it? But in reality, this means that the current system is not working. They are trying to fix it, but it will take years, not months. This is what the wise preparing for difficulties know, which others do not understand. When food shortages begin, people will start to panic buy groceries. But by that moment, cleaning supplies will disappear, as everyone will suddenly realize the need to maintain the cleanliness of their hands, dishes, and clothes. As soon as factories producing surfactants abroad face problems or deliveries are disrupted or palm oil prices double again, your local stores will quickly empty. Stock up now. Buy extra bottles of detergent, laundry powder, liquid soap, shampoo, and toothpaste. Because when this shortage happens, you won't just pay 3 times more. You'll be lucky if you find anything at all. As for personal hygiene, toothpaste and shampoo are also subject to supply disruptions. Here's what will surprise you. The global personal hygiene market reached $697 billion this year. But here's what is frightening. Right now, as I speak to you, supply chain disruptions are causing delays and shortages of raw materials for the products you use every day. Your toothpaste requires vegetable glycerin, but this glycerin is obtained from sunflower oil, which is currently impossible to find in France due to the war in Ukraine. Your shampoo suffers from production and distribution delays due to port congestion and labor shortages. And that's not all. The main point is that not all of these problems are temporary. Rising prices for sustainable packaging are affecting pricing strategies across the industry. I'm talking about the most basic things: soap, deodorant, moisturizer, the essentials you can't do without. And here's the sad fact. Some raw materials have an expiration date. If they are not delivered on time, it will become impossible to produce hygiene products. Imagine walking into your local store in a month and finding half of the personal care aisle empty. Not because people panicked and bought everything, but because factories simply couldn't produce them. This is not science fiction. It's happening right now. As for disposable items like plastic cups, plates, and cutlery, the situation is already critical. Do you remember how Starbucks faced a shortage of cups? Not coffee, but cups. The company uses 6 billion cups a year and struggled to find enough. Here's what really happens. Disposable cups imported from China are stuck in ports due to supply chain issues. But that's just the beginning. A shortage of staff at paper mills in the United States has led to delays in the production of paper cups. And remember that freeze in Texas. He halted the production of resins used for making plastic cups and coating paper cups. That's where things start to get really strange. Restaurant owners begin to unite. They send group notifications when they find available cups, as if hunting for COVID tests. Imagine this scene. Wetzel's Pretzels franchise owners literally browsing Amazon for cups. Any cups, universal, anything they can find. Entrepreneurs are forced to change available sizes and allocate additional time and resources for purchases from other companies. And here's something that might surprise you. There is another problem: a shortage of lids. Different brands of lids do not always fit cups of the same capacity. So even if you find cups, the lids might not fit. Think about it for a second. The entire fast food industry, cafes, restaurants, all in panic over basic disposable items that we considered normal just 2 years ago. The prices of plastic packaging have risen by 24% compared to last year. This is not the future, friends. It is happening right now. Item 6. Prescription medications. Listen to this story. John Black from California suffers from multiple sclerosis. For 15 years, he had taken the same painkiller. Then, one day in November, he came for his prescription, and the pharmacy said they didn't have it. After 15 years of taking the medication, I was left in withdrawal without any fault of my own, he said. And that's what is frightening. We reached a record of 323 shortages of medicines in the first quarter of 2024. This refers to cancer medications, emergency drugs that hospitals keep in emergency kits, and essential painkillers. Patients with pain syndromes cannot obtain oxycodone, hydrocodone, morphine, medications that have been in shortage for over a year. Item 7. Over-the-counter medications. But wait, it gets worse. Remember the shortage of Tylenol? It's happening again. CVS limits purchases to 2 bottles per customer. Walgreens does the same. Pharmacists told reporters, "I've been working for 34 years, and this is the first time I've had to worry about whether I can recommend Tylenol, Advil, or Motrin." Think about it. A pharmacist with 30 years of experience had never encountered anything like this. Item 8. First aid medical supplies. And this is what no one talks about. As of July 2024, at least 140 medical products are missing. This includes the basic first aid supplies. We are facing a shortage of surgical gloves, medical gowns, and simple bandages. Healthcare systems are experiencing a shortage 8 to 10 times greater than before the pandemic. The harsh truth is that 38,800,000 Americans suffered from a shortage of medical supplies in the fall of 2023, nearly half of whom had to postpone or stop using products due to their unavailability. When you have no access to basic antiseptics, bandages, or even disposable gloves, you realize the system is starting to fail, and this is just the beginning. Point number 9. Electronics. If your smartphone breaks tomorrow, your laptop starts glitching, and the TV remote fails, prepare for trouble. Here's the harsh truth. Consumer electronics suffer the most from new trade policies. The discussion is about a potential increase in tariffs on Chinese goods up to 145%. And here is what is important. Almost 80% of our electronics come from China. Supply chain experts are already warning that the high-quality electronics still on the shelves may sharply increase in price. I'm talking about your Apple phones, Samsung tablets, and gaming systems. An industry insider informed reporters this week that some electronics retailers may close if these tariffs remain. Think about that for a second. Item number 10. Parts for household appliances. This problem is hidden, and most people don't notice it until it's too late. Next month, your dishwasher breaks down, the washing machine starts making strange noises, and the air conditioner stops working in the middle of summer. Usually, it's not a problem, right? Just call a repairman. Correct. Spare parts disappear very quickly. We're talking about things that no one thinks about. Light bulbs, filters, cords, grill parts. All of this comes from abroad. Supply chain specialists call these categories unnoticed because they do not attract attention, but they are absolutely necessary for normal life. And when they disappear, they will be gone. Point number 11. Seasonal goods. This is where it gets really interesting. The 4th of July is approaching, and it may be the most expensive holiday in American history. Do you know something strange? American flags and fireworks are mostly made in China. Almost all of them. A professor from the University of California, Los Angeles, studying global supply chains, recently said, for some of these goods, there are no alternative suppliers. Think about it. No alternatives. No backup plans. Christmas decorations are produced abroad. Halloween costumes are made abroad. School supplies. You guessed it. And here's what's scary. Seasonal goods are ordered months before the holidays. So, if a failure happens now, you will only feel the consequences when the holiday arrives. Item number 12. School supplies. This news shocks parents all over America. Back-to-school preparation will become a real nightmare. We're talking about the simplest things: pencils, notebooks, backpacks, computer accessories. Currently, the production and delivery of these goods from supplier countries takes more than 30 days. But what no one discusses is that this time frame is getting longer every week. Supply chain experts warn that there will not be a simultaneous disappearance of these goods. Instead, we are faced with what they call slow exhaustion. One week, mechanical pencils will disappear. The next week, spiral notebooks will go on sale. Then essay notebooks, and then calculators. The parents will not notice how they end up in the empty corridor of a store in August, wondering why the school supply list for their children cost 3 times more than last year. And here's what's surprising. Almost half of the small and medium-sized companies selling school supplies reported in a recent survey that they could go bankrupt within a few weeks if the current trade policy does not change. Half of them will disappear. Your child's education has become a victim of the supply chain. Item 13. Pet food. This is what will surprise you. Pet owners in Southern Oregon are already reporting difficulties finding their usual brands of food in local stores, including PetSmart and Walmart, and the situation will soon worsen. The fact is that many do not realize that animal feed contains many ingredients. Feed manufacturers in the U.S. depend on the import of several micro-ingredients. Some critically important ingredients, such as vitamins, can only be obtained from abroad. So when these supply chains break down, the first to suffer are the dinners of your fluffy family members. Interestingly, sales at Chewy.com increased by almost 50% during the pandemic as people started adopting pets. More pets. The same broken supply chain. You do the math. It is important to note that a significant portion of the ingredients for food, additives, and materials for aluminum cans comes from abroad. When tariffs on Chinese goods rise to 145%, what happens to these little cans of dog food? Point 14. Culinary oils. This is already happening, friends. We are talking about a full-scale crisis of culinary oil. Russia's invasion of Ukraine disrupted the global sunflower oil market and increased demand for palm and soybean oils, leading to record price hikes. But this is only the beginning. Here lies the real problem. A severe drought has devastated production in Argentina, the main exporter of soybean oil. In Canada, farmers are also abandoning canola crops due to drought. But wait, that's not all. Do you know why cooking oil is really disappearing? The production of biofuels may lead to a shortage in the global market in the second half of the year. Your cooking oil is literally turned into fuel for trucks. About 30% of soybean oil is used for biodiesel production. So, standing in the grocery store and wondering why a bottle of vegetable oil costs $15 Remember that half of this oil is used for running a diesel truck. Point 15. Spices and seasonings. And now, in the finale, what will touch every one of your culinary habits. The shortage of black pepper. Prices may remain high for at least another year. We are talking about the most traded spice in the world. Vietnamese farmers who produce black pepper stopped growing it and began planting other crops after prices fell in 2018. Now, what do you think? The harvest in the year 2025 will be delayed by about 2 months compared to normal. Climate change is destroying spice production. In 2023, an unusual heat combined with droughts covered 70% of Mexico, leading to very low harvests and a shortage of sriracha sauce. And here's the thing. Supply issues from major spice-producing countries like India, Vietnam, and Sri Lanka, along with logistical difficulties, have complicated the task for suppliers who cannot keep up with rising demand. Think about this. When was the last time you cooked a dish without black pepper, without garlic powder, without any spices? The supplies of pepper are at their lowest in the last 6 to 8 years. This is not a prediction, friends. It is happening right now. While everyone worries about bread and milk, the smart prepared people are already stocking up on what truly adds flavor to food. Now listen, I need to ground you a bit because what I'm about to say is not a distant prediction. It's happening now. A shortage of eggs and rising prices are expected in 2025, with nearly 40 million laying hens lost in 12 states due to avian flu outbreaks, leading to further increases in food prices. The latest forecasts indicate that food prices will rise by nearly 5% in 2025. On top of everything we have already observed. But this is why these 15 items I just mentioned will disappear first before any serious food shortages occur. It's about supply chain vulnerabilities. Foods like bread and milk are mainly produced here in America, but other goods depend on complex global networks. Supply chain issues persist as global logistics are still based on fragile, just-in-time structures. One failure in China, one storm in Malaysia, one strike at the port, and suddenly, your pet food, vegetable oil, and spices disappear. The frightening thing is that 76% of European freight carriers faced supply chain disruptions that delayed their business last year. The situation is not improving, it is worsening. So what should be done about it? I am not urging you to go crazy and buy out the whole store. This will only worsen the situation for everyone. Here is your action plan for stocking essential items for the home. Stock up for 3 months. That means 3 extra packs of toilet paper, 3 extra bottles of detergent, 3 extra tubes of toothpaste. Use supplies to avoid waste. Regarding medications, discuss with your doctor the possibility of getting prescriptions for 90 days instead of 30. Most insurances cover this, and you will have a stockpile. Here's a tip for pet food. Buy the largest packages you can afford. They are cheaper per kilogram, and dry food lasts from 12 to 18 months if stored properly. Keep it in airtight containers to prevent pests. When it comes to vegetable oils, it's worth being resourceful. First, buy oils with a longer shelf life. Coconut oil lasts 2 to 3 years. Olive oil in dark bottles lasts 2 years. Store products in cool, dark places, not above the stove. For spices, it's better to buy whole rather than ground. Whole black pepper can last up to 34 years, and whole cinnamon sticks can last forever. Get a good spice grinder and grind as needed. Now about proper storage. Keep everything in cool, dry places. Your garage in summer is not suitable, but the basement, if not damp, is perfect. It's better to store batteries in their original packaging in a cool place for longer life. As for cleaning supplies, keep an eye on expiration dates and use the oldest ones first. Here are some economical strategies. Shop during sales and use coupons, but only for things you really need. Choose store brand products. They are often made in the same factories as well-known brands. Consider buying at clubs like Costco, but only if you can use everything before it expires. The main thing is to start right now while prices are still reasonable. Waiting for everyone to panic will lead to paying inflated prices. Let's summarize the most important items from our list. If you do nothing else, focus on the following: batteries, pet food if you have pets, vegetable oil, and spices, especially black pepper. They are disappearing already, not later. I don't want to scare you, I want to prepare you. There is a big difference between readiness and panic. Smart preparation allows you to sleep peacefully, knowing your family is safe. Panic is fighting people in stores for the last bottle of vegetable oil. The supply chain won't solve its problems on its own. Climate change isn't going away. Geopolitical tensions aren't easing. But you can control what's in your pantry. If you found this useful and are ready to act, leave a comment saying, "I am ready." This will help you realize what is really happening around you. While others will be unprepared for the shortage, you will be the one who foresaw it and did something. Stay prepared and sensible, and see you in the next video.